Hey guys! So I told you I might not be doing Writing Wednesday videos every week, but I'm doing one this week. So this week I am going to answer a tag that the girls over on Those Writer Girls answered last week. One of my good friends, Rachel, is on that channel. I'll link to it over here. So I highly recommend you go check them out if you're into the whole writing thing. I write novels. I've always written novels. I've always had a problem writing short form fiction just because I want to go on forever and expand the universe and like create all these complicated plot things and write lots of dialogue. And I mainly write speculative fiction, sci-fi, fantasy, paranormal. So mainly I have stuck to the epic fantasy, middle grade, and YA genre. Well, as someone who writes primarily fantasy, I usually write about other worlds and the people that populate them. I like how much fantasy books, especially epic fantasy books, can relate to our world without being anything like our world, and that really fascinates me. Also, like, other cultures fascinate me, so I like incorporating cultures I learn about and historical things I learn about into my fantasy writing. Also the relationships. I like to write about relationships. Not necessarily romantic ones. I like to write about relationships between siblings, especially sisters because I have 2 of them, and between friends. This is a tough one. I really like writing dialogue. I really like building worlds and creating a culture, and I really like planning my books. I really like outlining a lot, which is why I love Scrivener because it makes it so easy. I also really like actually sitting down and writing it. And then I like to go back and revise it. I suppose it would be like the tiny, minuscule edits that I like least, but I'd like big picture edit. This is also a hard one. I've been writing for pretty much as long as I can remember, so I don't know what inspired me to start. There are certain books and authors that inspired me to keep writing. Anyone who I've come in contact with really has inspired me to keep writing in some way, either by giving me ideas or by writing such amazing things that I want to emulate it. This is like asking me to choose between my children. I can't choose a favorite character that I made up, but I will mention 2 of them because they're like the ones that stick with me the most. There's William from my only completed novel, and by that I mean edited and everything, which is called A Burning Remedy, and he is kind of a villain, maybe a future love interest, kind of a protagonist. Since I know his background, but I don't reveal much of it in the writing, I just find it so fun to write about him. Shayna, who is from a book that doesn't have a title yet. I haven't written yet, actually, so I don't know if she counts, but I've had this character in my head since like high school. And I just really like her because she's super strong, but at the same time really values her friendships and will do anything for her friends. Doesn't let her romantic feelings for someone get in the way from doing what she feels is right. Yeah, the first story I can remember writing, which I talked about in my last week's video, I wrote when I was in like 3rd grade. It first became like a goal that I wanted to be able to make a living off of it in around 5th or 6th grade. I talked about this in last week's video. You can click this link if you're interested in that. It's kind of amusing. It was in 3rd grade. It was a picture book about environmentalism. My favorite story that I want to write is the one where Shayna is the main character. I've just had the idea for this story in my head since high school, but I've never felt good enough to write it. Shayna's part of it would be a 3-part trilogy, but then there's like other books that I'd plan on writing that would take place in the same world that would kind of like lead up to Shayna's trilogy. I call this world kind of my Middle Earth because it's so complicated and there's so many parts of it in my mind and so many characters. There's a web of books and characters that I want to write about, and Shayna is just like the crowning glory of that, I guess. I do have a lot of the books outlined and like general plot points written down in random notebooks, so hopefully someday I'll get around to writing it. I do try to write at least 500 words a day, and then I try to write like 1,000 to 2,000 words every weekend day, and I go to a coffee shop and I write there. That is my ultimate goal. I've wanted to make a living at being a writer since, again, I was in like 5th grade. I've never been able to see myself really doing anything else long term. So, yes. Yes, I do. So, thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I'm not really sure where the subscribe button is now, but wherever it is, subscribe. I'll put a link to my blog in the description, which is where I put all of my videos from everywhere on the web. I'll also put a link to my vlog channel and a link to Those Rider Girls. So yeah, check those out. Also, please leave a comment if you have any thoughts, and like the video. Thumbs up.